Jasper Jones has been dubbed Australia's answer to Kill a Mockingbird. The coming-of-age murder mystery story is full of unforgettable characters, great dialogue, and the novel ultimately examines what it means to be a true hero. Hello and welcome to part 2 of my video looking at Craig Silvey's novel, Jasper Jones. In this video, I will discuss the themes of the novel, relevance of the text, author context, and the symbolism that's used in Jasper Jones. Themes. Jasper Jones presents a range of themes for readers, including racism, the plight of outsiders, appearances versus secrets, escape, guilt, fear, and courage. Symbolism. Silvey's novel contains a great deal of symbolism, which can be drawn upon for student analysis. While there are many symbols and motifs in the novel that can be explored, I will only look at 3 main ones here. Batman versus Superman. At several points in the novel, Charlie tries to convince Jeffrey that Batman is superior to Superman. He argues that although Superman is stronger, faster, and generally invincible, Batman's lack of superpowers is what makes him more impressive. Because Batman is mortal, he requires a tremendous amount of courage to continue fighting crime. Superman's adventures, on the other hand, have no stakes since he's already stronger than his opponents. The symbolism here is very clear. Charlie's fears and insecurity, just like Batman, don't disqualify him from any acts of heroism, but on the contrary, they make these acts even more impressive. The word sorry. Jasper discovers the word sorry written in 2 different places, on the tree where Laura died and on a rusted out car on Mad Jack Lionel's property. The repetition of these words ends up being a simple coincidence. Mad Jack wrote sorry on the car because he blamed himself for killing Jasper's mother. Eliza scratched sorry into the tree because she blames herself for Laura's death. Charlie wonders what sorry accomplishes. He concludes that there is something shallow and unsatisfying about apologies that simply express regret and guilt. The word sorry can never entirely repair the damage that's been done. Ultimately, the word sorry symbolises the inadequacy of remorse and redemption in the novel. Characters try to forget and atone for their crimes, but they are never entirely successful. Peaches. A traditional dare for the children of Corrigan is to sneak onto Mad Jack Lionel's property and steal a peach from the tree that grows in his yard. On one hand, the peach dare serves as a symbol of Charlie's maturity, as he wouldn't dream of attempting this challenge at the beginning of the novel. However, the peaches also represent the power of knowledge. As a result of his investigations with Jasper, Charlie learns that Mad Jack is in fact a sad and lonely old man, and another one of Corrigan's regret-filled outsiders. This new knowledge empowers Charlie to challenge the local bully to a bet as he undertakes the dare at the end of the novel, and in the end, Charlie ultimately wins. While Charlie appears courageous to the local children for stealing the peach, it's Charlie's knowledge and understanding about Mad Jack that empowers him to stand up for himself. Relevance. While Jasper Jones uses a 1960s backdrop for the story, the undercurrent of racism and xenophobia presented by the novel is just as relevant in our modern society. While we've undoubtedly made progress since the 1960s, First Nations Australians are still subjected to overt, covert, and systemic racism, while immigrants continue to encounter xenophobic attitudes. Jasper Jones also highlights domestic abuse in Australia, with a focus on disempowered women and girls, which again is just as relevant in today's context. Finally, you could argue that the ever-elusive concept of the Australian identity is placed under the microscope within the novel. Australia continues to be a nation where our cultural diversity is our strength. The multitude of complex characters that reside in Corrigan reflect the cultural melting pot that forms part of our national identity, and again, investigating the Australian identity remains relevant today. Author context. Craig Silvey grew up in a town in the southwest of Western Australia called Dwelling Up. His father was an industrial arts teacher and his mother was a teacher librarian. Silvey says of his literary influences, "I've always been attracted to Southern Gothic fiction. There's something very warm and generous about those regional American writers like Twain and Lee and Capote, and it seemed to be a literary ilk that would lend itself well to the Australian condition. For me, coming of age isn't learning to be an adult and being more responsible and ticking the boxes of maturity. For me, coming of age is bursting the bubble of childhood and learning and really questioning your place in the world." Released in 2009, Craig Silvey's novel Jasper Jones was a notable success for the young Australian author. The novel depicts scenes containing bullying, domestic abuse, a dead body, and overt racism, so a level of maturity is required for younger readers. Jasper Jones has a 4.1 rating on Goodreads, which is a very impressive rating for an indie Australian novel. Personally, I think Jasper Jones is a great read. There were moments that made me laugh, moments where I cried, and several characters that I found myself identifying with throughout the course of the story. Jasper Jones is an incredible novel which highlights the plight of outsiders in Australian culture, as well as highlighting an undercurrent of racism towards First Nations people and immigrants alike. I hope this video has been helpful and educational in some way for you, and if you enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments below. If there are any other books or plot summaries out there you'd like me to cover on this channel, please let me know.